Um, Goodness, you are so open and honest with group therapy. Was there parts of your life that you were scared to be open about, or were you all in for this?
Oh, I was all out. I didn't want to share. I'm not used to sharing like that kind of stuff. I talk about sex and dating and boys, and I can tell you about my first blowjob. That's perfectly fine. But to talk about my inner feelings and insecurities and being vulnerable about my looks and about my career, yeah, no, that's not something I felt easy. It didn't feel easy coming out of my mouth, but I'm so glad I did it.
I mean, all of you were in such great company, so I feel like maybe that made it that much easier for you to open up since you are with your peers and they are already talking about their
Exactly.
issues
Yes.
as well.
And their issues, I'm not gonna lie, made mine feel really. I was like, oh,
I
okay.
haven't walked out of a three-story building while I was
Right. I
working.
have never gone to sleep and then slept, walked out of a building. My mum is not, hasn't got severe mental health issues. I haven't been suicidal. Like, I literally am like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. I can handle this. I can talk about me.
That's right.
This
You might be the most normal of the bunch at that point.
is normal. This is the first time I've ever been the most normal. But I'm glad that everybody felt free to share their stories. I'm glad that Neil Patrick Harris created a safe space for all of us to openly talk. And I learned so much about my peers. It was really insightful, very inspiring.
Well, I have to ask you about that moment where you and Nicole are sort of bonding in the hair chair, and you're
Yeah.
saying, I never felt like I'm more of a white girl. My hair is blonde because I wanted to be white. Was that something that you really aspired to when you were a kid? When you,
Yeah.
it,
Well, yeah, it sounds crazy. Like I want to be white, but it honestly, it wasn't that I wanted to be white because I love being a black woman. It was just that what a white woman or white young girl symbolized to me, especially on TV, is the white girls were the popular ones. The white girls got all the boys. The white girls wore the cutest outfits. The white girls were seen as attractive and beautiful. If I look at campaigns, like we've come a long way when it comes to makeup and things like that. But when I was a kid, it was only really white girls in makeup campaigns and they were setting the beauty standard and the Kate Mosses of it all. And I don't look anything like Kate Moss. And even when it came to like the shades of makeup, it was like so many different white shades, and then the two black shades were caramel or cocoa, and that was it. And like I wasn't cocoa and I wasn't caramel, and I was just like, I wish I could be like snow and and apricot, and like there's so much variation for white women, and like my lips were big, and I was told that I had tomato lips. So I wanted like thin white lips. So I used to smile in my school photos like this to make my lips look really thin. And so like things like that, beauty was so synonymous with whiteness that I was like, well, I guess I'm not beautiful and I want to be beautiful. So I want to be white. So yeah, doesn't I'm not surprised that I have blonde braids right now. And I'm not surprised that there's certain features that I think are not beautiful because they're not Western Eurocentric beauty standards. I'm talking about my lips or my nose. So
right?
yeah,
Body
that's normal.
dysmorphia is a real thing these days. And growing up in the 90s, there were only like one black teenage girl, Lisa Turtle, or and,
Yes, and I did not look like Lisa Tuttle at
or,
all. So she was gorgeous. Like so.
or like Hillary Banks and stuff. You're not like super rich, and you have like every makeup at your well, you do have a Chanel therapy bag,
You
but
have. I have two mental health Chanels now. So I mean, I try. But yeah, honestly, I didn't see the representation. I didn't see young black girls that looked like me on TV and were desirable. They unless they were American, honestly. The first like desirable black women I saw wasn't American. To this day, there's no black British desirable women on British television. Like we're not seen as like, oh, she's the most beautiful girl and she's black. No, that's something that British TV has not managed to managed to make. And so as a young black girl who loved TV, yeah, I was so convinced that because I didn't look like her, then I wasn't desirable, wasn't attractive. So yeah,
well,
it's
I'm
really
submitting
hard.
this clip to the BBC to see what we can do about fixing
Please,
things.
let's petition them. Let's do it. Let's change it up.
What did your family think when you said, I'm starting group therapy?
The thing is, they were like, "Are you sure?" Because honestly, it was the worst time to ever do it. It was in the middle of a strike. So we'd all been on strike, and the
No, you're
documentary.
like, now is the time to do it. I'm on
But we
strike.
were the worst versions of ourselves because we
Oh.
wasn't allowed to work, and like that, the documentary was strike approved. But that whole year, we literally were told like we don't know when we're going to work again. I'm a writer, I'm in the WGA, and I'm in SAG as an actor. No work for 8 months in total it was, and at that time, we didn't know how to feel. So for them to come along and be like, "Guess what we're going to talk about? Your feelings." It was just like, oh. Are we sure? Mentally, am I in the right space for this? But I'm so glad I did it. And it definitely helped that I could just openly talk about my career and the things that I've been through because I've never been able to do that. I've never been in an opportunity I never had the opportunity to just talk freely about things like that. I usually just make jokes about dating and my love life, or I make aspirational videos about living my best life. And I just wrote a book and I had it all down on paper, but I'd never said it out loud. And so this was the first time I got to just be sit in my truth and be honest. Like this is how I feel about things in my life. Definitely therapeutic. Definitely.
Well, hence the name.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you learn about yourself then from taking part in this?
I learned that I'm a whole mess because I watched that whole documentary and was like, I'm not funny enough. I genuinely, I'm genuinely clearly more insecure than I thought because I am such a perfectionist and I want things to go uh, the right way. That when Neil Berkeley, the director, said, it's not about being funny, it's about being vulnerable. I was like, cool, I'm just going to be vulnerable. So I was just vulnerable. I wasn't thinking about being funny. It was quite freeing to not have to worry about that. But then when we edited it all together, all the other comedians were vulnerable and funny. And I was like, oh no, I wasn't funny enough. And so I watched it back thinking, you need to let it go. you you clearly have like this kind of need to be like exceptional. And I look at it and I'm like so proud that I was open and honest about my story and that I had the platform to share. But I do look at it and go, oh, I should have made a few more jokes in there. Should have got a few more one-liners in.
Well, we were there for the therapy. I think the comedy was just a side part.
Yeah, it was just a side thing. But like Tig was so funny in the film. Tig kept
Yeah, she was there for both.
She was there for both. She really did the best. Tig and Atsuko. Atsuko's story about how she didn't know, like, as a kid, the Disney princesses didn't have mothers. She's like, Snow White didn't have a mom, and Sleeping Beauty didn't have a mom, and Cinderella didn't have a mom, and Pocahontas didn't have a mom. She had a grandma, but she was a tree. I cracked up. I was dying. Like, oh, it was just so fun. Like, oh, comedians we're the best, honestly. How can anyone hate comedians? We are delightful.
Well, certainly.